You know, I did not picture myself uploading 3 videos today, but it's almost the extension deadline, and this is how it is in the NBA. So Kyle Kuzma, 3 years, $40 million from the Lakers, with the last year, the 2023/24 season, having a player option, which shocked the hell out of me, and apparently it's the first time that's ever happened on a non-max rookie extension. So for the 2024 season, they only have Anthony Davis under contract. LeBron is not even under contract for that year. So the idea could be, they give Kuzma some flexibility. And I guess that has to be the main thing. That, and the Lakers didn't want to just give Kuzma a solid 3 or 4 year contract, clearly. It'd be an expiring contract. Maybe they could use it in some sort of a move or whatever. As far as looking at Kuzma and, his place in the league now with this contract, I mean, it's basically $13 million a year. And if you look at guys around that level, Brook Lopez, who I would say is better than Kuzma, JJ Redick's better than Kuzma, Christian Wood's better than Kuzma, but, then there's guys like Trevor Ariza, who's probably on the decline at this point, Dion Waiters, Corey Joseph. Is Kuzma better than Corey Joseph? I don't know. Is Kuzma better than Tony Snell? I mean, he certainly gets a lot more attention, but in terms of just being a fundamental 3-and-D guy, Tony Snell might be the better player. Is this an overpay for Kuzma? Honestly, it might be. I mean, Kuzma defensively at times has been good. Other times he has been... Well, let me dive into that more. I think Kuzma played a real part in the defense the Lakers played against the Rockets, where everybody was flying around and they were double-teaming Harden and all that. And there have been times where Kuzma is a dude who can switch. I mean, he's got good size, 6'8". He shuffles his feet around okay enough. And he has had stretches where he has looked better defensively. It's just the consistency and the defensive IQ, and does he have the quickness to stay in front of faster guys off the ball? That stuff is a little bit more of a fear, and that's what really matters with this Lakers team, because especially now with Schroeder and Montrez, they don't really need Kuzma to take a whole lot of shots, and at this point in his career, you don't want Kuzma doing much off the dribble. I mean, he's basically had the same amount of assists as he's had turnovers at this point in his career. So then I think the other question is, can the three-point shot come back to what it was as a rookie? I don't know. He was not projected to be a good shooter coming into the NBA. He had one good season. Since then, he hasn't been so good. His free throw percentages have been in the 70s, which suggests he can be a little better than below league average, which is what he has been as a three-point shooter. And the main reason for that is Kuzma's jumper. It looks okay in real time, but when you slow it down, his lower body and his upper body are not synced together. There's a really good breakdown that I found of this on Reddit. Just look up 3 reasons why Kyle Kuzma is struggling with his jump shot. It was made 6 months ago. So he's got to figure that out. I mean, if he's not going to be a three-point shooter, then you're hoping he can take a step up defensively, as well as get better as a playmaker and a ball handler. And I don't think we can expect him to do all of those things well. I would give him a better chance on the shot and the defense than I would the playmaking. So we'll have to see. He's just got to do it. But I don't want to just immediately dismiss Kuzma. He's definitely been an inconsistent player. But, you give a guy a shot, certainly. And he's had moments where he's looked good on both sides of the floor. Anyway, if we think about the short-term money stuff for the Lakers, we already talked about the player option. So between LeBron and AD and KCP, and we would imagine the Lakers wanting to re-sign Schroeder after this season, and now Kuzma's $13 million or whatever it's going to be in the first year, they don't have a whole lot left. I mean, we assume that Montrez declines his player option. KCP could be a trade guy just because the 2023 season is non-guaranteed for him, but I feel like the Lakers would just want to hold on to him, So I think projecting their salary for next season after this, assuming Montrez is gone and Schroeder is re-signed, it's give or take already about $120 million for the Lakers. And so you start to think, well, could they have the option for the mid-level? I think the most you can go over the luxury tax with the mid-level is $6 million. And the luxury tax, as of right now, seems to be about $136 million for the 2022 season. So they've got some breathing room there, but they have other contracts they'd have to decide on between Caruso and Taylor Horton-Tucker. We'll have to see how he is this year. Are they going to bring back Wesley Matthews next season? That's a question as well. I guess the other thing to discuss is, could they have set themselves up for Kuzma to be a bit of a trade filler? I mean, maybe it's just the Lakers don't have any picks to move, so I don't know what type of trade we could really see from them involving him this season. I mean, next year it would be a little more interesting because you think, well, it's not thinking. They will get their pick next year. It only goes to the Pelicans if it's in the top 7. So, I mean, let's say Kyle Kuzma's a little better this upcoming year. You pair him up with that pick. Maybe you could get something from somebody. I don't know. Perhaps it could even be paired up with like a Dennis Schroeder sign and trade sort of thing. Although if you do a sign and trade, then you are hard capped, which makes it a little tougher to make moves of some kind. But this is stuff way down the road. The Lakers honestly might have just done this because they figure he can be an actual player for us. But if I continue to look at some of the guys that Kuzma is going to be making similar money to, and we mentioned some of them already, a few guys who are better than him. Malik Beasley, at least in the stretch with the Wolves, is better than Kuzma. Beverly's better. Marcus Smart's better. Terrence Ross, he's at least a better shooter. Thad Young has been a better role player throughout his career. Davis Bertans is better right now than Kuzma. Will Barton is better. Taurean Prince, I guess they're both kind of iffy. This is a little bit of an overpay for a guy who, up to this point, has not done one thing consistently well in his career. If we think about Kuzma's place on the team, I assume he's going to get a good amount of minutes. Is he a part of the best lineup for the Lakers? I guess maybe if he really improves at things, but you assume LeBron, AD, KCP, Gasol, or Montrez. We'll have to see. I think Gasol is the starter, but if we're talking about the best lineup, we'll have to see. And then there's that fifth guy, and there's a lot of candidates for it, and sure, Kuzma can fall into that thing, but I would bank on Schroeder right now if we're talking best possible lineup. And if Kuzma's not going to be that type of dude, then why'd you give him $13 million a year, you know what I mean? So we'll see. Hopefully he improves.